Okay, the recording is on. So I see right now many our experts are joining. So before we will go further, I would let to everyone to have to give several minutes. And again, that is the reminder about our rules for the communications. You can see what right now there are the same 4 steps which we had before. So I would ask you to mute your microphone. I'm welcome your question into the chat session, and I already got several. It's great. So I would really ask you to continue to share your question through the chat. If you have a video, it will be great if you have it. And I would ask you to rename what we could really read your name and understand which country are you from. So like we have an example on the screen. Today we do not have a translation to the Chinese. So that's why you don't see my usual 5 points for switching to the special dedicated voice channel. So today working language will be English. Uh, if you have if you're familiar with Russian, you could also ask us in Russian. We'll translate it in any way in English, because English is a working language for WorldSkills World Championship, and that is the working language for our skill camp. So today we will host this session together. So I mean, it's me, Alexandriev, and Anna Korotkova. Today we'll really these 3 topics what we would like to discuss. The most important, the most exciting, the most challenging is the second one, is the assessment for module 1, because that is what we will really try to teach to you how to do it. And so the goal is what after this session, you will be able to assess your own students who already did or who will do the module 1. Okay, before we come into this assessment, as you know, we have right now training day 1, as it's called. We have different time zones, we have different countries. So I would ask you the following. We have a chat session, in chat, what you will answer my question. So I will see who did it. So my first question, did your students already started the, the first module? Can you please put plus sign if you in your territory you have already started with real module 1? So Malaysia is already there. Taiwan is also here, Singapore here. So at least, Tunisia, China, great. So I mean, to me, it's great. What's not only the east side of the globe already started, but even in Tunisia. So it means it's more or less in the middle. You already started. It's great. So I mean, we in Russia also started, but part of our students has already finished, but is still in the process of on this process. So that's why we could place. Okay, everyone is started, but not everyone is finished. So I mean, this my second question is, it's more formal one. Did you already download this Excel sheet which I provided to you for assessment? Again, make plus if you did it. So I see what's Jarek from Poland, yeah, Malaysia, Brazil. Oh, Brazil is also did great. So I mean, we will refer what assessment form, and I would ask what each of you, even right now when we start in that session, will download the assessment form from our chat. So right now I turn on the Telegram client on my computer to not be distributed during our presentation, but you all have this in, I put it in our chat, please download it. So another question from me is the following: if your students already started it, can you provide us really very fast feedback how difficult it is? So I mean, one is will means it will be very easy, two it's mean okay, and three it's really will be difficult. So one is easy, two okay, three the module is difficult. Okay, so for advanced Polish team, it's very easy, great. China is also there. Okay, for okay, Leon thinks it's okay. So I mean, the will somebody think so that it was difficult? So I see you see Ava 102. So I mean, if you mark it's one, it's mean it's great. So I mean, but the question is, did they do the task right? Because if we're talking about the really the content, it was, let's say, two parts of that task. One, it looks to be very easy: set up grids, set up levels, naming. The second part, it's a little bit difficult. And what we already mentioned, looking into Russian participants, not each student read it carefully, unfortunately. So it means following. For them, it could be it looks or perceived to be very easy. It could also happen 3 hours was enough, but it could also reason what they will not get a high scores. The reason is very easy, just because okay, yeah, someone right now has commented something, but I mean the reason is very easy, because students should really carefully read what is in a task and try to do it exactly like it defined there. So before we will come to, before I give the floor to Anna, I would mention the following point. You all get this, we're working right now in distributed mode. You all got this Excel for the day one. Uh, there is, I made one mistake, and it's meant following. If you look on the file name, it contains it contains following. It's called the country and org. So you see, so if you really see this Excel file, on the end of the naming, there is country and the org. So I did it so a common file, and I would ask the following: when you will do this assessment to your students, please change that name according to your country. For example, if I look on you who wrote me right now back in my chat, for example, it could be, for example, Poland, uh, but without org. So I mean, if you from Poland, you have only one organization which participate. If you have, for example, of China or South Africa, you might have different organizations. So I would ask you to put there the name of your organization, just because we know who did it. And what I really missed here, it's a name of your student whom you evaluate. So I mean, so that's why if, for example, you are from some, let's say, for example, from Beijing vocational schools, you should name and you have 10 students. You should really prepare for each student's separate file, which will contain the China as a country name, maybe a short form of Beijing vocational schools, BWS, and after, please write the student name of your students, but the same as it was in the registration. The country and the name of the students will be requested in form again to check. So I mean, we want to inherit double check what you will also put in the first line in Excel sheet, again with the same country and the name of your students, how it was in the application form. The reason is very easy. We have to convert the marks, the results of your assessment into the WorldSkills information system. So that's why we have so many people. So that's why we should also be able to get familiar whom you assessed and what the results we did. Okay, so I want to right now to give the floor to Anna.
Hello, dear colleagues. I'm very glad to see you again. And let's start our first assessment. I will demonstrate our screenshot. And here it is. Our student used BIM 360. And they put their projects here. But only one of them did it as well as we recommend in our test project. So I click here and I see only one competitor who did it as well as we asked to do. Then I download this file. It's already here because I did it 10 minutes ago, preparing to our talk. So it's this one. And then let's look through. Just a minute. I opened this file in Revit. And what can we see here? Grids. We see here some grids. And let's check. Is it correct? Right, we asked in our task or not. First of all, I would like to show you marking form, which we will use in our championship, usually. So usually it looks this way. We have here some aspects with max mark, and here in this field, the put by hand the mark that we will right. Okay, and this the first sheet of the marking form and a second. You have the same point with the same marking form, but in another view. Alexei already has sent it for you. And we will work with this form. So our first aspect is to check coordinates in our file. As we asked in our test project, the base point must be in the intersection of grids 1 and A. It's here. And here is survey point. And let's check the coordinates. Look, pay attention here. As we asked, north-south, east-west, elevation, and the angle to turn north. It's correct. Please check it in our test project, and if I will make some mistakes, correct me. It's very important for us to check it together. Then I open our Excel file, and in this point, put yes. Let's go the next step. Levels. Position of levels corresponds to the specification. As I remember, in our test project, they asked our participant to make 4 levels. Let's check. I close this. And let's see it here. They have here only 3 levels, but it must be 4. So let's read. We can put 0.2 points for each level. In our market scheme and in our mark form, we will put 1.2 for each level. So it must be 1.6. But in this form, you put 3 because you have 3 levels. It will be more easier for you. It will be easier for you to put here the number. Let's check the next point, grids. We should have 12 points in our model. In the level 1, we have 9 points with numbers, 9 grids with numbers, and 3 grids with letters. It's correct. So here we put 12. Next step, views. We asked to have each view, view for each level. So there must be 3 views. Okay, here is 3 views. Floor plans, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Okay, it's correct. We can put here 3. Basement floor, first floor plan, second floor plan. And another point, families. In this part, we should check families of windows. We asked to make families for single casement window, double casement window, and triple casement window, and window with balcony door. Let's check. Window. Okay. Window with 1 case, 2, and 3. Let's try to put it to our project. No, not this way. I'll make some wall. It doesn't matter, there it will be. And window. This window. Okay. Doesn't matter. Window 1. Okay. Okay. Let's try to change our dimensions. The width or height. Oh, no, not wall, I'm sorry. Window. Edit type. So we can change these parameters. It's good. They ask to do it. Okay. I didn't catch any difference. Let's try again. Oh, okay, now it's bigger. But here I see one mistake. It's about revels. It's quite a difficult part of our task because it's a special thing. I think some countries doesn't use it. Please put plus if all of you know what is revels in our chat. In Russia, we called it quarters. I can show it in our task. Just a minute.
I mean, Tunisia and Brazil. Tunisia knows, Brazil doesn't know.
In our test project, we have picture about it. Here it is. I think it's not correct view. So revels, it's this element and here. Perhaps I pronounce it in not correct way. Here it is. Bruna, do you use this thing in your practice? Okay, let's go forward. Okay, so in this model, I don't see revels, so I will change the wall to check it. No, here is no. This element doesn't look like a revel. So in our marking scheme, here we should decide what mark we will put here. We have 3 families for each type of window, but without revel. What should we do? It's the point for discussion with experts. And Leon, it's not a window frame. I answer the questions. And please, what do you recommend to put here? Is there that family correct? Will we put the max or not? How do you think? Alexey, what's your opinion?
Okay, so I just see in our description the last sentence what it's stated: revels must be created for each component. So I mean, from my point of view, what is explicitly defined, and from our side, what elements what it should be created was also in the task. So I mean, if I really coming from really strict assessment procedures, I would say all 4 the Windows families was created, but unfortunately it does not conform to the requirements. So from my point of view, I wouldn't grade any points for that aspect. It's my point. Yeah, you see, Asmi also mentioned that, yeah, family is not correct.
Okay, that's the point of discussion, and in championship, all these experts discuss this point and make their decision.
Maybe I would ask, add something. You see, dear expert, what's maybe a very good example. So I mean, why the expert have to really discuss, and what they're doing and dealing with. In our case, for example, the task has a special description and special really reference in the task, which element has to be has our students do. So that's why if we will have these strict requirements during the marking, it is very correct. But if it will be not specified in our, let's say, task, that will be really discussion within the all experts who are on the in the competition venue before we will start the marking. And we should really decide, for example, if it was not mentioned, but it's really, let's say, best practices to do it, we could decide what's for that particular aspect we use that understanding and should mark all our competitors accordingly.
So, thank you, Alexei. So let's put here 0. Next point is DOS, families with DOS. Let's check it. So they have here some door, but look here, they have balcony door and window. I think it's incorrect, because balcony door, we should have it in windows, but not in doors. So door, okay, let's check it. And also we have a folder with families. We can look there. Balcony door, 3 windows that we also saw, and this door autumn. Okay. We have here frame and door plane, but this point is changeable, interior or exterior. And let's try to check this one. So it's parametrical, I think, and put it here. I think it's strange. This element is quite strange. And what shall we do? As we decided about windows, I think we shall put here 0, because the door is incorrect also.
Dear expert, if you, for example, disagree for fast reaction, you could unmute and make your quotation. So I mean, that is really, it really shows you how it could happen during the competition, and to our goal, what each of you will really agree with that interpretation. Just because if we really have assessed the first one, the same principles, the same understanding should be applied to also to your students. You see, so that's really a point. We should have the same as really perception to any students.
Okay, next one, families for furniture. Let's look here. Check the folder. In the folder, we have no any families for furniture. Okay, and what's in our project? So they have desk, but it's preloaded family. And then, unfortunately, no one else family for furniture. Okay, let's put here 0. Next point, types for walls, floors, and roofs, the 3 points. Let's check walls. Try to draw wall, but what we see here, it's preloaded. As for me, I don't see here any walls prepared for our task. What do you think? Okay. Here is the same. Next point, floor. Check it the same day. The same generic floor, steel bar wall. No special floors for our task. In the next one, oh, something wrong. I'm sorry. Okay. Something goes wrong with my Revit.
I think it's because you are creating for a boundary.
Okay, yes, you're right. And what should I do? I should stop it, yes?
You can press the modify for there.
There it is.
You have to quit that function.
Here.
Press the.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for help. It's I work always in Russian version, and it's difficult for me to search it in English.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you for your help.
No problem.
Okay, and about rules. So I think it must be somewhere here. What? No. Oh, so the same thing, because I'm trying to do it. So we check this point, and so let's check this point. I don't know exactly how she wants to do it. This way. Let's check in families. Are there some special? Has preloaded. So just the same. I don't know. There should I check it? Do you have any ideas about it?
I've got one question, Anna. It's Jacek. Because your instruction says that for the module 1, they were supposed to only model the families for windows, doors, and so on, and somehow adapt the families from the sample file. You provided this RAC sample file, so probably the students didn't understand that they should model the families for the windows, for the walls and slabs and so on, because the instruction, if you open the instruction for day 1 in this PDF file you provided, it looks to me that they were not supposed to the families for the rest of the components for today.
So
it's really important to understand the instruction for us, because we are to assess our students and really would like to know whether how to interpret this instruction, because it didn't show the families other than windows and doors in the task 4.1.6.
So now, okay, now I will get our task from our chat to check it again. Okay, we all have the same, I think. Here is day 1.
Yes, day 1. Yes, this is the document I'm talking about.
Yes.
And
okay.
If you go to the point number 4, which is the description of the module 1 tasks for today, it seems to me that they were not supposed to play with these roofs and so on. It is for module 2 and 3. I mean, they 2 and 3. So it's here.
So here is this additional sentence about it. And I agree with you that it's not clear in this task that they should prepare this in this part.
Yeah, there is nothing in the table 6, this family library task. So it should
Yes.
be clearly stated how to interpret this.
I agree with you, because we discussed about it in our team of experts. Should we put it in the table or should we write it here? And the decision was to write these 2 sentences about it, but I agree with you that it's not clear from these sentences, and so it's a difficult thing.
Maybe you see the point with 416, which really stated computer will need a family library. So I mean, it's also in model 1, because we need to create it for the next stages.
Yeah, I know, but I have the impression that then the 2 and 3 description, another document, it's also a work on families there. And I personally thought that for today they are supposed only to do the windows and doors. This is what was my impression. So I just like to clarify this and with other experts, so we interpret this the same way and assign scores the same way, because I think it's important to have clear result of these tasks.
So I mean, thank you, Jacek. So I mean, to all of us, it's very important. So that's why we also had, as Anna mentioned, several circles of our internal discussion, how explicit we should give the requirements. So I mean, I should also say what there is some some examples even for WorldSkills World Championship. It's very, let's see, very tricky to explain. So sometimes, so I mean, we don't have, but in our cases, it could be, for example, if we have the same, similar task, in one case it should be shows example, and in our case should be us following the drawings. So I mean, in the first case it could be really like example, but they should really did it adapted according to the text description. So that's why I guess to us, it's again, to all of us, when we come into big competition, is important what we really read it and really understand what does it mean. Yeah.
Okay, but here, unfortunately, I put 0. Okay, the next point. I think here is mistake, because we should put here yes or no. I will change it now.
Yeah, okay, it's my fault. So I mean, if you will see it, I especially divided in 2 columns. So the first one is either yes or no. The second, if we measure something. So please, okay, change it in your files in your own.
Okay, and here what we see, project file is named according to the specification. In our test project, they have a lot of recommendation about it, but what do they see? She called correctly the folder here, you see, but the main file here is called only project 1. So now I am looking through our test project and search the point about name of the file, but now I don't see it. But we have some naming rules for families. What should we do in this case? Project file, which competitor sent to us was correct name. And about file name, we didn't told something and think in our test project. He has written only about naming system. Do you agree? Okay.
Jacek, what do you think about this particular case?
I'm sorry, I have to unmute myself. I'm sure I saw the requirement and the naming convention for the file system. I was trying to find what this.
Yeah, you see,
right now.
Maybe that could be the case, because you see, I split the big task into 3 days, and I did it consciously, just because on the competition, when we have competition, we all leave the task on the competition space. Right now we have distributed, so if it happens later, so it could be, but if it happens later, we could not in the model 1 with requirements, to me, we could not punish.
Yeah, sure. This is clear, and this is what I try to in the previous comment, go to the instruction and see what the instruction says. So I was really
let's let it do
sure, but I don't
check
see the day one naming convention. So perhaps it's the next files. So for the time being, we you shouldn't punish for this, and it's really the field in the Excel file. It's really useless for us because we cannot punish or give scores for this. Yes, for sure. But in that case, by the way, if you look at these Excel files, you also have the families naming convention, and it's only 4. And this is what was my impression, that you required for today only 4 families to be, but because the walls are also families, and slabs and roofs, and there is no points for naming convention for these files. So this is why I thought that students were not supposed to model the walls and slabs and roofs for today. And it looks to me that your Excel files for this scoring, only 4 files, you give 1.0 point for each family file. So it's perhaps another thing why I thought they should only model the window and door files. But you know, it's, if we agree, they should also include the walls, roofs, and so on. Of course, I will score my student with these rules as accordingly.
So I mean, what we should really right now decide what Anna try to agree with you, just because if we will agree what these aspects means, that we should after automatically apply the same understanding for each our students. So that is what we right now discussing. So I mean, if Anna right now is searching through the files, so maybe I will also do parallel.
So I think that here the project files we didn't recommend how to do, and if you agree, we can put here yes. But about families, we just looked through our test project. This part of about naming is not only for the second model or third model, it's for all the tasks in general. So
no, you see, you just has right now shows us the correct naming of files. So I mean, it should be, you see, it's 0.3, 0.1, 0.6, the first sentence. So the naming convention is here. There, that is what you right now showing, because correct naming on files, it's here. So yeah,
yes,
Jacek, you was right. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Okay.
Yeah. So you're right.
Yes.
So I mean, in that case, that was the
Yeah,
requirement.
I mentioned I saw somewhere, but this is not in the table below.
Okay.
Is the table 4, and it should be perhaps another row, another entry for the file naming convention, because you put strictly rules for the what fields are separated with underscore for the families and so on. and we really don't see the rule for the file naming. I mean the project file naming convention. But at least it was mentioned here. Yes, this is correct.
Yeah, it's correct. So
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that case probably no one. That's because file naming convention is here. Yeah.
Okay, I agree with you.
Mhm.
Okay. So they put here no, and about families 0. Let's check it in our folder. So all the names are incorrect. Next step. Levels are named according to the specification. Okay, let's look through. Here they have such names as L1, L2, L3, and what's we asked to do? Let's check. Level. It must be L1, for example. I think it's correct. Do you agree? Okay. So here we put, yes. Next step, 4 plants are named according to the specification. The same. Okay. Wall types. No, I'm sorry. Wall types are named according to the specification, but we didn't find any wall types. What should we do? Put no, I think. No types, no names. The same about floors and roofs. That's all. So we can look through another project.
Maybe I would propose, as I saw some our experts from East part, I see right now in my Zoom voice of Leon. Leon, do you have any students whom you could share? Probably. If you okay, we could really go the same way with your students, because I guess the East part already finished. If you want, it's really just proposal, because we have other students in Russia. We can really upway, yeah. If you want, or maybe Jacek, your students, if they finished, it's really we can do the same procedure. Just
unfortunately, my student is still working. He was supposed to finish something like about the meeting, but I haven't received any input from him.
No problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
okay, no.
If you my student, if they can redo it, it's fine. Yeah.
No, Mr. If you can really the same as Anna did, you can share with us some. You could choose one of the students' work, and you could really just use this file which I provided to you, and we can together go through, because we don't have access right now to your students. But if you're okay right now, let's do it. And it's
I have to ask my student. You mean you want to check one of my students' grades, right?
If you want, you can really right now. We can do the same. So I mean, you can share your screen. We can share the table, and we together go through and try to assess.
Or Anna, could you give me your email? I can ask my students to invite you to check his assessment.
Okay, I thought you have all these files already, so no, it's okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So Anna,
yeah, because their files is in BIM 660.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Anna, if you have something already, you can share.
Oh, okay, we have. So now in our folder, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students. But in our test project, we wrote about transmittals. So if it would be a real championship, we can check only one who shared it for us. But it's train, so let's see another. Let's look through another work. For example, this. Just a minute. I will unpack this. Okay. So the folder family library and the main file. So family library, no, we have that, we have some experience, and so we see here that some names are incorrect. And we will check it later. Okay, let's open this. Okay. Open level 1. And let's start from the beginning. I'll clear this. The first point, coordinates. Look. And what can they see? I think. Oh, so the point here, base point here. It's difficult for me. Oh, here it is. I think this competitor put here the AutoCAD file. It's easy to work. So when he should draw here. The base point is correct. What's it? What do we have? Okay, let's try to move it to see what's it. Okay, it's our file import, but the coordinate, the base point is correct. Just a minute. Okay, here we put yes. Next step, levels. Let's check. It's good. We have 4 of them. Next point, grids. Let's check it. 9 and 3. Put here. Views for each levels. Here they are. That's it. I think it's correct. Families. Let's check the families. How can we do it? It's easy to check because this competitor put it in the 3D view. Okay, freehold type. But let's check how does he do it. Oh, And what do you think? Is it correct way to do family, double casement window, or incorrect?
No, I think it's incorrect.
I agree with you. It's incorrect. Because here we can put two of this and see the something strange. Okay. And what about this window? Is it the same? Yes, the same thing here. Another one. It's the same window. Okay. And do we have another one? It's preloaded. So in this point, I think they should put 0 because the families are incorrect. They good, but incorrect. So next step, doors. Here, what do they see? Interior or exterior. Oh, here's description in Russian, but I don't see here quarters reveals. So as we agreed, it's mistake.
Excuse me?
About
So,
reveals, quarters. Let's look.
I was
Okay,
wondering
this
if
here we don't see reveals. I'll show you. We discussed it. This.
Anna, excuse me. Leon wanted to ask a question. Leon, your turn, please. Leon?
yes. I was wondering some of the parameters, if they use their local language, is that will affect their grade?
Okay, the question was about the language because it was parameter in Russian.
Yes.
Yeah, Anna.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's incorrect. We should use English. We asked about it.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Got it.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
What Anna did, she also mentioned about this reveals, and it was not even in Russian that naming. So what was her comment? It was, yeah. Because you see, it's again, right now we have a training purposes, for example, and we could, all of us can agree, for example, if we will use that naming in local language, but we will have all elements, let's say also reveals in the models, we will grade it as it's okay. We could mention them, but it's again, you see, in that case, it is possible. But it was no reveals as a parameter in the participants' work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next point, families for furniture. Okay. Here are standards. So let's load family from the folder. So here is her folder. It was family library. So let's see here.
Excuse me? About the folder's name, there is no underline. Is that correct?
No, it's not correct. The names of families is incorrect too.
No, I mean the folder's name, the family library. There is an empty space.
Let's check. Okay. Let's look through our test project. You about this? I didn't understand. I'm sorry, a question about the name of.
Yes, I'm saying the family library. There is an empty space between Y and L. Should we put a underline up there?
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. But now we are checking furniture. We are checking this point. They're checking types, not names. Then we will check name. We will put 0 in this point. I agree with you. It's incorrect, of course, but it's a very interesting point. If the folder have incorrect name, should we look through or not?
Maybe I would comment the following. If we really go from one aspect to another, so I mean, if we right now measure the families for furniture, we right now should assess only the naming of, let's say, the furniture families, not else. If, for example, what question was about file naming convention following, in that case, we should really assess each file which are in the project. So that is really important. We should concentrate on the question of the topics which is aspect aimed to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So also about families with furniture. In our test project, we wrote that they should make a folder with families. But when we talk about test project, we, as I think, talk that there must be preloaded to this project. So now, but in here, the families are not preloaded. But we should load families. And I think it's not correct. The families should be preloaded from participants. I shouldn't do it now. Okay, and now we have TV, we have this, but I don't understand correct. It's incorrect. We have another in our sample project. And what else? This one, this, and this. So what shall we do? I see here 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 5, and this incorrect. It's another type. 5 families for furniture. But and here, there is it. Here, we should put this 1.15 point for each configuration corresponding to a specification. So we should put it in our project and check their dimensions. Okay. And we should compare it to our task. Okay. This one. It's incorrect. It's all preloaded. This family is correct, but it's preloaded. We don't put it here. This was standard. So this, okay. This. This one. They have some mistake, I think. Oh, should I do it from another? Let's check another one. This 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one. From system, perhaps. Okay, this way.
Oops.
So something wrong with it. Different host faces, which placement mode? Okay, which mode should I use? What do you think? Not component. Here it is. No, I tried. On this, let's try. No. Help me?
You might try to position to next to wall because it says it lacks some host, which is something that keeps the element bound to itself. Host face, which could suggest a wall next to the buff tube, but I'm not sure.
It could be floor mounted. Maybe try drawing a floor, then you can put in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Oh.
But we are on the floor plan, so it should.
Okay.
The floor it's.
And so what shall we do? Is the family correct or not?
Jacek proposed what you put, save a wall and try to assess, or if I had something else to create a
okay.
Pool, sailing.
Ah,
yeah.
So let's look, what is it? No.
Oh, so the moment the thing hits 820.
I think you can go to modify tab.
Ah, need the floor. Okay. I understand when doing it. But I can't do it without walls. So it's difficult to check for it.
I think regarding the bathtub, you can use the button for the placement in the plane, I think.
So you think that we need to create the floor and then put the bathtub? Yes? Or not?
I take it the bathtub is floor mounted, not wall mounted. So maybe drawing a floor will allow you to host it on the floor.
What should I do? I should make floor?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Let's make floor. The same?
Anna?
Okay, that will mean that you have to host it on a wall instead of a floor. So you got to draw a wall instead.
Anna, I think you just click the component for the bathtub. I think you can go to the component of the bathtub and you can see some button placement on the plane. No, you just go to the component button.
Let me try to do this. There it is. Is it correct or not?
It's a wall mounted.
Okay, but
A vertical bath tube. Wonderful thing. Creative.
do you think we have some mistake here or not?
A serious one.
Or I'm stupid? Please.
Okay, it's again a very tricky question, just because we should reflect back to our aspect. What does it mean? Should we really check the correctness of placement of families or not? So that is really the tricky thing.
To make it clear, it's a hosting element should be the floor, so it's unusable in this way. Even though the bath tube, it's perfect as it looks with all the details and so on.
Oh, I have an idea. Oh. Do you like it this way? It's on the wall. Okay. So let's check. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think 5 families. Let's put here. Do you agree? Okay. What about walls? Let's check. So this competitor prepared for us some walls, but let's look through the first one. So here, what we can see. Let's look for structure. So here is bricks. So air, but I think they asked for insulation. Okay, so stucco, but here we have mistake, because in our test project we asked to do the load bearing wall separately from another parts. So this wall is quite good, but incorrect. So look, another, the same thing, brick, and then another layers. This one, brick must be separated from another layers, as it's told in the task. So the same things here. This one, this, and these walls are incorrect. This one incorrect. This one incorrect. The same, the same, the same. This exterior brick. Let's look through our task. I think we shouldn't have exterior brick walls with such a width. Okay. Not here. I don't see here exterior walls with such type. And even here. I think they don't need this type. So this one, exterior aluminum, I think it's correct. Exterior concrete. And so what is the thickness? Width 60. I don't think that we need this. No. And even here. They don't need this time. So this interior, okay, I agree with it. Interior brick, I agree. And this, okay. So 1, 2, 3, and this one. I think only 4 types is correct, and we can use it in our model. Do you agree with me? Okay. So we put here 4 because you have 4. Okay, aluminum must be curtain wall category. It's important. It's in our comments. Let's discuss. I think that it can be curtain wall category. What do you think? Okay. Does somebody have opinion about this one? It's for decoration. I'll show you in our sample. This one. Shall we do it as a wall type or curtain wall?
I think that the instruction for the day 2 says pretty explicitly that each bar should be assigned its material, so it should be a composition of bars. And I don't think a standard wall will have this structure in the horizontal direction as a composed of bars of material. What do you think?
Because it's based on because it's based on okay.
So let's resume. We should put here not 4 but 3 types, okay? Except that wall.
Well, if curtain wall is a category you use, it's a different semantics in Revit. with comparison to the standard walls, because it has those sprockets, bars, and so on. So it's probably not correct if we count this as a wall, aluminum wall.
Okay, so here we have 3 walls. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Next step, floors. What do they have here? And please help me here because I don't remember how many types we need in our model. Did you look through our task? This is for structure, I think. And this is quad floor. 1 minute. Here is roof, exterior floor, and what does it? Blind area, concrete. Let's look through. Oh, okay, it's for exterior, not for the building. So how many floor types we need? We need at least 3. So I think that 3 types we have. This one, this one, this one, and another. Okay, here is correct. We put 3 here. Roofs. As we talk, it's quite difficult to check. Do we have roofs prepared or not? Let's check here. Here, no roofs, but this one, what is it? So I think that the competitor prepared this type for roof. Do you agree with me? And what should we do with this point? At least 1. So I think it's type for roof. Do you agree? Okay. Let's put here 1. Next, file. Project file is named according to the specification. This is her file. I think it's correct. And so the folder is called as we asked. Okay, here, yes. Next step, family files. Oh, it's interesting. Let's check. Here I see only 2 correct names, okay? And all another is incorrect. We asked to put the first letters as the author name. So in what here? Family files are named according 0.1 for each 4, but here they have only 2. So they must put 0 here. Level are named according to the specification. Okay, let's check. Yes, it's correct name. Okay, here, yes. Floor plans, yes, we also saw it. Wall types are named according to the specification. Let's check. Here we see this wall type. I think it's in, is it correct? I think not. What do you think about?
Well, if we start with the shortening of the name, so it doesn't start, it's just probably an adapted standard family, basic wall interior, blah, blah.
So in this point here, we should assess the name. I think it's the type are named not according to the specification.
Looks like, yeah.
Okay, so here they put no. Yes. Floor size, well, not size, floor types. So here is mistake, I'm sorry. Floor types. Types. What about it? I think here the name is correct. It's the first one. Here. Let's discuss. Do you think the naming is correct or not? Okay. If you don't mind, I will put yes here, okay? About floors, the names was correct. Names were correct. And about roof. So this, yes, the name is correct. Okay, we have done. That's all for this competitor. What do you think?
Anna, sorry, I have one question to ask.
Yeah, please go.
Okay, my name is Safwan. I'm from Malaysia. So basically, I have one question regarding the naming convention for the project and the families. So basically, I would like to ask which standard we should use, either the BS 1192 or by using our own country standard, because I saw in the module day 1, you are using the standard for the family is using the standard for Russian GOSH official regulatory library. So my question is, which standard we should use for our file name and our family name as well? So we should go to the BS 1192 standard naming convention, or we should use our own country standard? Because I saw in the Excel provided to us, let's see, so they are given mark for the project file is named accordingly to the specification. So which means is I have to standardize all the naming for my project and as well with my family type. So that's all my question.
Maybe I answer instead of Anna. We have right now in our task with naming convention. We have already talked about that in the beginning. So that's why we will use the naming convention from that task. So I don't have that in front of me. Anna can probably show that again with file again. I think it was 0.3, 0.1, 0.6. Yeah, 1.6. Yeah, what is the
Okay.
naming convention for the project?
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
So, and if you found somewhere references to our ghost, so sorry, we really try to avoid any local specification, and this file was really remodeled from a scratch to fit into the international standards. Okay, is there any questions so far? Because in that case, we could probably go forward, because the next our topic is about discussing the module 2. So I don't know, Anna, maybe you could really just walk forward and maybe just show for the second model what's, because that is really will be big modeling part. Again, what I would remind you, that will be 4 hours exercise, just because it will be much more modeling task than before. So not 3 for this first and 4 for the second part. After our call, I will upload the families which your students will be used. So I mean, that is the library is ready, and they will use not their own libraries, families, sorry, but this set which we prepared to them to avoid any mistakes which we could do during their own work. So that's why please do not share with them before they finish the first task. That will be for the second task. Yeah, Anna, go ahead.
So about the model 2, they will do the model of the building. So the first part in this task is about working set. As we discussed 2 days ago, it's not very important for this task because they work alone. Not the file will be used only by one person, not from the work group. But it's part of our skill, so please pay attention for this. In different languages, working sets could automatically named in different way. So look for the table 8 and name working set as here is recommended. So here is the curtain walls. So you was of course right then talk that this element is not a basic wall but a curtain wall. They should competitors should do this. So here's some information about drawers, about openings and material. They must be correct. So floors, load-bearing ceiling, not ceiling, load-bearing, I think it's platform, must be created separate instance in other components. If you have some question in this part, please let's discuss it. So the top coat material must be separate than the platform, than the structure. So furniture, they must put in correct way. Railings, rooms, roofs, pay attention that the roof should have a variable thickness layer. Stairs, walls. So here, once again, about load-bearing walls and another layers, as we talk about. Windows, and here, pay attention for this part. It's about cast in place reinforcing belt. So we can do it above the windows, so all around the building. I don't know exactly do you use it in your practice, but in Russia, sometimes in small buildings, they use cast place reinforcing belt instead of using beams. So, and the last part is about publishing results. So, the next point, final improvement of the model, is about our third day. not for today. Tomorrow they will do their model 2, we will assess it, and when in their free day, competitors can improve their model and prepare it for their model 4 and model 5. So we have one important thing in our drawing. I would like you to pay attention to this. So I'm really thanks for Jacek for his he told us about some points here, and so then we did the task. We had some discussion about dimensions and definitions. So as you see, here is it's not how it is well completed with some dimensions, and sometimes our competitors must think themselves about the thicknesses, about the level, and about some size of the windows and another. It's done because in real life our chief architect or master can give us only a hand drawn sketch and told, please prepare the model from my sketch. And so we don't have some definitions, we have only sketch and must do the model. So about size of the window and other things, competitors must make their decision themselves, how they will do it. So in the end of our work, our buildings must look like in the sample project, and that's all. So that's all that I wanted to talk about it. If you have some questions, let's discuss it.
Yes, but that is the second day, which called second to third day with separate file, which I provided to you. So please. Is there any questions? So I mean, if there is no question, as a next step, I will right now upload this families, okay, which we develop, and you will give the same families for your students when they start to do the second day. Tomorrow, as you saw, right now we discussed an option if we could pick up some of your students. So in that case, Anna will share with you. Anna, could you share with you the Odesk BIM account? Put it in our chat. If you want, you could assign Anna to your BIM 360 project, and we could pick up some of your students and would together assess. I would also upload the assessment for the second day. We right now checking the correct translation, because for today we found some inconsistency. So I hope we will check and also will upload it tomorrow. And I would really ask if maybe you will also try to assess it even before we do our joint session. In that case, that could origin much more question. Okay, any other question, please?
I have a question. In the second day, there's terminology that mentioned work sets. Is it the work sharing work sets that they have to break it into the as specified in table 8?
Oops, sorry.
Sorry, there is this mention about in table 8. architecture file working sets. When you use the terminology working sets, means it's the work sharing work sets. Am I correct to assume that is what it's supposed to do?
If I correctly understood you, so they should really use this word sets. So I mean, they should really define it. We also discussed with some of you what if we're walking along, it will be okay. Not efficient, but we should really come into that point from educational point of view. So that's why we requested what will be one of the tasks, what they will use that would set definition and the assignment of element to that. So far, Bruno asked a question about example of calculation with grids. So Anna, if you could again come back to assessment and show an example, it will be great. If you have another, okay, and also Ricardo asked about the specification of walls.
About grids. So in assessment, it's here. Here they put number of the grids, and we counted 9 grids here and 3 here. 9 with numbers and 3 with letters. It must be 12. So when you make a set, so here you put 12, it's about number. When we will put the mark, we will put here, just a minute. In this, here will be, I think, this mark.
But the question, Anna, is if I may interact with you, that you do not check the distances between the grids, their position relative, and this is the question. I think we should check it because it's a position to corresponds to the original file, so it means also the spacings are should be set whatever it was in the original DWG file. And this is the point here. So we should also probably check whether they're precisely spaced.
Of course, you are right, because we should check. We should check position of grids. It's my mistake, but you agree with it.
Yeah,
so,
sure, it is.
Okay. No, of course, we should check. It's important thing. I agree with you. So, what's not about wall specification? Oh, it's very interesting question about wall specification. We didn't give you wall specification, so you can find it only in the sample and make your decision which type of wall you will use. For example, let's look here. Here we have the load-bearing wall and the another layers. So in our description, they wrote such a sentence. I'll show you. Here it is. Here some words about material, that load-bearing walls are made of brick, and that's all. You can look to another file which we give to you. This one and this one. Here you can see some more information about the walls, but the wall specification isn't given. So does I answer the questions? Did I answer?
Well, frankly, I have the impression that it's a little bit unfair with the students. I'm not sure whether they are given all the instructions for all the 4 days, because I just received the files from my students when we are during this session, and look at it just for a while, and he did not understand, of course, that he was to prepare the walls for today, and the specification for the walls, what your students from Russia did with these layers and so on, was a description in the day 2 and 3 instruction, this PDF file you showed us a little bit ago. So, well, what I mean, it's of course we could, if the students, all the students have the instructions for all the 4 days and they read it and they understood it correctly, they have the knowledge for doing day 1 task from the day 2 and 3 and 4 instruction. But I'm afraid that this leads to some misunderstandings and errors. So we will punish our students that they didn't read the instruction for tomorrow for today work. What do you think about this?
Okay, so I mean, I understood what you're talking. So maybe some information which could help them do their task better was in some kind of reference or hits could be in the task for the 2nd day or 3rd day, right?
Yeah. Do they have the files? Because I've only give.
No. So I mean, we right now did not give it in Russian. We really, as we discussed it, as we followed to the as we agreed. So in Russian, we give them only day 1 task.
Okay, so I also gave the day 1 task. I mean, we use this PDF version 1.6 file, and there is no indication about the wall types and the materials like brick and not concrete and so on. So I don't think it's just correct to punish them. That probably I believe other students from other teams also had this problem, because I didn't pass the instruction for the day 2 and 3 and 4 for my student. So he did not have the instruction, the specification for these families like walls and roofs and so on. Of course, he had the cross section you provided with this BIM Academy PDF file, which is the sample of sheets from this Revit project. And this is I asked about this, some lacking dimensions and elevations and so on. But this is clear and obvious that we could estimate the thicknesses, the composition, but not, for instance, the material, that it should be the brick. So, well, this is my, some sort of hesitation whether this scoring card, it's really, because your instruction is like some kind of EIR, okay? Employee information requirement. Yeah. So this is, I agree that it doesn't matter whether we have some systems for naming convention, like it was the question from staff one who asked about the 1192 or whatever. No, this is the naming convention in this EIR, and we should follow it. So understandably, when they do the task, day 1 tasks, they should follow the EIR for the day 1, which didn't state the composition of the walls and roofs and so on. And this is my hesitation. Of course, I will follow the rules and will score my students like you did. But I think that some of the students could be puzzled with this, and will somehow will be frustrated because they were punished for something that didn't know how to do, and that they should do today for tomorrow works, as you stated, that there was some sort of system prepare system
Okay.
families, and there was only one sentence they mentioned it.
Okay, yes, okay. We see it's always a trade-off when we preparing a task, because we also understood what could be a problem for students if we will not prepare families. Honestly speaking, so will provide all families. Okay, were already ready. So that's why the task force today was how good they could prepare a design of families. So that's why if they did not do or did not correctly, it's not a problem for tomorrow because we did it. The second question, which I really heard for you, it's about the with ER, and they have not the full information. They don't have understanding about the full project. What is again, it's more trickier to my mind, just because again, what we could right now today discuss. So I mean, if they will need, and you have, by the way, you have the all tasks for all 3 days. So last task is contain the full task, and originally we prepared this full task, and after we decided to split in 2 parts. So I mean, if you haven't that in front of you, and if you think for the second day we will need the information from the last day, so we could right now decide in that case tomorrow we all give to everyone the task, the final task, which contains part for tomorrow and part for Thursday. So
Could be more, I mean, just and honest to them, because they will know the boundaries of day 2 task and day 4, but they will have the knowledge about the requirements. So if something's, if something it's specified in the day 4 document and could somehow reflect what they do for day 2, perhaps it's much safer to give them the instruction, if it's okay with you, this for day 4, which contains all the instructions for the day 1, as I understand, day 2
sure.
and 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So perhaps I don't know what other experts say, but it's my personal opinion that I sure that it's something about self-confidence, and if they do something and they say, okay, but how should I know that I should split the walls not into as a layers in one wall, but the separate components, as you state, and so on, because
Okay, yeah, Jacek, for the walls, what was stated in Anna right now shows that what was really clear stated here.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's why for today they were given the requirements which we should follow. So I mean, about bricks, about the separation. That was also here.
No, there was nothing about bricks for day 1.
No, it was what Anna right now shows.
No, it was day 2
Of
and
course,
3.
you are right. Here, no information about bricks. But I think that Russian students did it because it's our Russian building tradition. They always build such buildings from bricks, and so they have insulation, and the next we have stucco. And so we taught them this way. And that's why I think that they had no questions about it. But also I agree with you about all that you said. Of course, students from another countries will have some difficulties with it. And also I told on our briefings with our experts about this point. And so it was, I wanted to put information about bricks to the task because it's important. So I agree with you that we should give some more information, but here is a very interesting thing. In different countries, they have different traditions. I think somebody can make these bore there in load
Goldberg.
bearing wall, bearing wall from concrete, for example, and it will be correct because as an architect, I think it could be done by concrete. Why
No
not?
problem. But you showed the example that you went to the table and check whether it's brick. So if it's not brick, it's probably not correct. So this is my, question.
No, concrete
for
correct.
Sure, okay.
Also, it's our Russian tradition to build from
Okay.
brick.
Okay, so Anna, the question is what we are now discussing. Should we give, for example, for tomorrow, for the second day, the full task until the end? What do you mean?
Until the end, it's very interesting because on the last day, when competitors will modify their model, there will be some interesting things which we didn't write in our test project. And I think we can give all the test project except this point, except
sure.
the changes, because
Sure.
it's interesting and important thing.
Perhaps we could do something hybrid, which is reveal the information about requirements and not the tasks for the day 4. Because if they know the task, they will try to do it for before the day 4 some preparations, perhaps some other tricks to perform better, and this is not what we want from them. But the information that they may lack for the day 2, if this is the case like with this day 1, that some information that could be helpful was in day 2 and 3 instruction that they didn't have at the moment they did the modeling, probably could help to clarify the things, simply clarify the things, what should be the composition of the walls or whatever. Okay.
So I mean, as Anna told, we have anyway this corrective modeling, and this part is not disclosed in the current description. So I really I don't tomorrow it will be relatively a lot of modeling for 4 hours. So I mean, I don't think we will be able to do any task from the last day, but maybe, I don't know. So I mean, what's maybe in that case, what if I really thinking what will restrict from disclosure the full task is the phone. We especially will have the additional training day, and we really thought to give to students with additional as we mentioned, self-training day, just what they will prepare and improve their models. So I mean, if we know the task from the last day, they can really in that day do a lot for the last day job. So I mean, corrective modeling they will not do because we will not know information, but the 2 other parts about BIM coordination and drawings, we will be able to do on Wednesday. So what I would really avoid. That is really something which I don't want them to share, just because if we have one day after another day competition, it will be no problem. But if we have with 1 day for self improvement, of they will self improve their models, that will really in that case the last day will not work well as it should be. So I would propose the following. We will share only the second day for tomorrow, but you will know the information from the last day. And if such question will appear, like could appear today, you can provide additional, let's say, clarification. But without disclosing the task for second day, we will provide additional clarification about the model. So in that case, it will be correct. So is it workable?
Yes, sure.
So I mean, in that case, what we will decide? What we will follow our original plan. you will give to your students the second task, and we will provide right now upload with families. Again, these two yeah, documents and family library will provide to your students. But you will not provide information about last day task. You can read it, and if your students will need some clarification, you will provide this additional clarification based off your own knowledge about last day task. And if for example, some information required contains in this last day task, you are free to share, but not share really the full task. Okay. Okay, we will, the question I read in our chat, we have a metric measurement.
Yes.
So, okay, so we right now probably.
By the way, if somebody changes the unit from millimeters to meters or centimeters, is it correct, or? There is nothing in the question in the XLS file you provided about the keeping the units correct. I mean, the values are, you know, could be in meters or millimeters or centimeters. You put millimeters, but could be also centimeters or meters. And for some people would, you know, more clearly express the dimensions in meters, for instance.
So when we use metric system, but in our task, it doesn't matter what
Okay.
we use.
So we accept also centimeters or meters if it's a metric system, okay?
In sample, it's millimeters.
Yeah, I know, but
It's a metric system, yes.
Some people may you know treat it more convenient to measure dimensions in centimeters or meters because you know big numbers in millimeters. For instance, your elevation for the site was 1 on 100,000 millimeters. Okay, so 101 meter, but you express this in millimeters, so which is pretty unusual for the elevations. But it's workable, of course. It could be that way. So it's not the problem here. But it's much easier to make mistake, you know, add another zero or omit a zero, and your elevation will be by 10 times less or more what you put. So this is, but I understand that we do not score the units unless it's a metric system, okay?
If I correctly understood Anna, it's possible.
Yeah, I understood that we could do that.
Yeah. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, so in that case, I will close our session. You see, it was not easy just because we really right now touching very tough and sometimes tricky points. But that's the tool when we could really assess the same, do the same assessment to all our students and provide a feedback to them. And as you see, one of the very important question to us and to all of them is to carefully read the test project and really try to do as it's written. As Anna shows today, it was especially with the second participants, it looks what she did much more, but when we really try to assess, when we really drill down, some aspects, some moments was not according to our test tags, and she, I guess, got a little bit more points, but not so significant more as she could get. And I guess no, okay, we also check some our Russian students, we didn't mark, but we really check their files. No one did for 100%. So I mean, it's mean what in principle, if we really reflecting back on my first question, was the task easy, okay, or difficult? It was okay, but to some of them, or if we look into market scheme, it will be difficult, but it's okay. So I mean, as I share a few principles of the wall skills, the task should be really hard to do in the given time, or for wall skills world championship, even very hardly possible to accomplish within the given the time frame. So I mean, so that's why we right now on the first steps, and it's great what we have much involvement of you into the conversation, and with feedback, and you see it's really good exercise to each of us. First of all, jointly discuss. Right now we have examples, we have really samples how we assess, but I will share immediately after our call the recording with you, and after WorldSkills Russia will put it on the YouTube. So in that case, I wish all you a good assessment, all students a good, really good accomplishing the task. I will upload the families, and you have all what's necessary to start the second part. In that case, good luck, and see you tomorrow. We will have the same links, I guess, and see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.